Hi, I'm Mary from Art Makes Life Merry, and I have been teaching elementary art for about 25 years. Today I wanted to share with you the typical format that I use for my art lessons. So the example I have today is a project inspired by the artist Andy Warhol. So for each lesson that I do, I have an example of the artist's work, and I usually get these from art catalogs, sometimes calendars, and then below that I write the artist's name. So in this case we have Andy Warhol, the title, which is Flowers, the art style, which is pop art, and then any other extra vocabulary words that would pertain to the artwork or the art style. So in this case I have repetition, and I also have printmaking. And then on the other side I have our project. So the top one is usually what we do for one day of the lesson, and then the bottom one is what we would do on the second day of the lesson. Most of my lessons are broken up into 2-day lessons. So the first part of the project in this case is the drawing and the outlining, and then the second day is probably finish up the outlining and then painting. So I also do a Google slide for each one of those visuals. And also included in my Google Slides is usually a story that we can also find inspiration from. So because this artwork has flowers in it, I like to use the story The Empty Pot by Demi. And that story you can find on Storyline Online. And also I like to use these books that are Getting to Know the World's Greatest Artist series. So there is one for Andy Warhol. This one happens to be Alexander Calder because this is not the right artist. This is the one that I just happen to have at home. So I would read these to the students, and I could also borrow that other book from the library or show the video from Storyline Online. And there's also videos online about the artists that are designed for children. So you can just do a Google search for Andy Warhol videos for kids, and then you can preview those to make sure that it's quick enough and interesting enough and relatable to the younger students. So so let me just run down how this goes in the classroom. So students come in, I have this hanging up. I always have my paper backup. You never know when the technology is not going to work or if power is going to go down or whatever. You always got to have your paper backup. So I would have this hanging up on the board, and then I would also have my Google Slides ready to go. Usually the first slide I have up is what the project is, because that's the most fun part and that's what the kids want to know. What are we making today? So I'll have that up. Students come in quietly. If for some reason we're not coming in quietly, I'll ask for the Mona Lisa, which is our quiet symbol. And that just means, body still, eyes on the teacher. If you want to do the Mona Lisa pose, you're more than welcome to. And Mona Lisa's eyes are always following you, so your eyes are on the teacher. We're sitting quietly, ready to go. So then I start explaining what the lesson is. Today we're going to be making a beautiful picture of flowers. We're going to do day 1. I usually have like a little label too underneath, just a sticky note that says day 1 under here, and then day 2 under the other part of the project, so students can see that this project is going to take us 2 lessons. We have 40-minute classes, So I'll explain, today's day one. We're going to do the drawing and the outlining part of this project. And then next class we get to do the painting. So doing the painting on the second day does give the students something fun to look forward to. All right, so then I go through the artist's work, and I show it on the Google slide. It's a nice big board for everybody to see in the front of the room. And we go through our vocabulary words. So they basically just repeat after me. Our artist is Andy Warhol. And then let's say that together, and we say it together. So, and then I explain the vocabulary words just briefly. The introduction usually takes less than 5 minutes, really, just to go through our vocabulary words. And then we listen to the story that is related to the lesson. So we would listen to the empty pot story for this. And probably the second day of the lesson, we would review the artwork again and go through the vocabulary words quickly again. And then we would listen to the story about the artist on the second day, or watch the short video about the artist on the second day. And then get into our project. So for the actual drawing, so a lot of my projects we do together step by step. So I would show them how I draw this flower. If I have students that are older, like my third graders, and they want to maybe draw a flower that's a little bit different, I generally do tend to allow them to be a little more creative and expand on the limits of the project. So drawing step by step together, I could draw on the board, I could use a document camera and draw, on a desk, and then have the document camera project what I'm drawing onto the larger TrueTouch screen. Or I could put on one of my YouTube videos, and then they could follow along with the YouTube video, and then that frees me up to be able to go around and help students individually while they are following the video. So that's another example. And usually by the time we have drawn this in pencil first, and then outlined with Sharpie in this case, then it's about time to clean up. So I usually choose, I have 2 students at each table generally, and so then I choose one student to collect the supplies. Like in this case, we use pencils, erasers, and Sharpies, so that would pretty much just be 2 bins. One bin for the pencils and erasers, the other bin for the Sharpies. So I would say that the student closest to the window would collect the pencils and Sharpies from your table. So they would just collect those 2 bins, take them over to the counter that I have at the window. So that's about half the class getting up and moving. And then the other half of the class is with the students that are closest to the door in my room. So those students would collect the folders. So the folder is one folder for each table. So they would collect the 2 pieces of paper that are in their folder and bring that up to me. I put the folders in rainbow order plus a few more colors, and try to collect it in the route that I would walk for passing out those folders in the beginning of class. And so collect it in that same order, and then they're ready for next class to pass out. So when I do pass out the papers, usually I get the papers ready while students are listening to the story. So each folder I slide in the 2 pieces of paper, or I I do have an extra table that sometimes has more than 2 students. And so I put the correct number of papers in the folder, and then when we were ready for working, I would pass those out table by table. And it does go quickly. And so then when we collect them later, that also does go quickly too. You know, one student from each table bringing up the folder, the other student putting the supplies away, and then everybody back to their seat. Generally, we would have time for a quick game, so I do like to do guess the picture, where one student draws a picture on the board and the other students raise their hands to try to guess. And then, so I have a dry erase board that's next to my big board, that the True Touch board. And so we have one student come up, make a drawing, and the other students try to guess. So they draw a little bit at a time, and other students raise their hands. And I do keep track on my seating chart. I just make a little check by that person's name that got to do the drawing for that day. And sometimes we have more than one student doing that. So that's a fun little activity at the end, just to fill up a couple minutes of time before we line up. And that pretty much is going to take up your whole 40 minutes. And then the second day with the painting, I would give more time for the cleanup. Sometimes I hold off on the video. Let's say there's, you know, maybe I have a 5-minute video on the artist Andy Warhol. I might do that at the very end of class, after I've collected the water and the brushes and the paints, so that it'll give me a few minutes to clean up those brushes. Or we might do that during the game. So usually once the students have the practice of doing the game, they can pretty much just run the game on their own. So I'll have the one student come up to the board and other friends are guessing, and while they're playing the game, I can be at the back cleaning up the brushes, ready for the next group. All right, so, and then, you know, we line up nice and quietly, their teacher picks them up, and then the next class is ready to roll right in. So I hope that's helpful for you, just to see what my lessons are like. I do, of course, have all my videos of my how to draw and how to paint things on my YouTube channel, but I also do have a website that has all my lessons that I did last school year in order, week by week. So you can get to that by going to my YouTube channel, and then at the top it says other sites, and then under that other sites I have my website, and part of my website, one of my pages, is my K-3 art curriculum from last school year. All right, so I hope you found that helpful, and I hope you have a really great day. And let me know in any comments below if there's anything else you want to know about my lessons, or if I left something out in here. I would be happy to respond to you. And again, have a really great day. Thanks, bye.